And today only, actually, the convention tickets are 30% off. That's the early bird discount. So if you'd like to come to the convention and network with other intelligent Black people, learn a lot about everything from crypto to relationships to politics to investing, starting a business, all that good stuff, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. The link is right there. Hey, Alicia, how are you? My wife's name is Alicia, so I like that name a lot. It's a good name. So anyway, I decided I would pop in and do a quick little Q&A. And so if you put a question in there, make it a quick one, like make it like a one sentence, or that way I can answer it really quickly. Okay. So Alicia, you know my wife. Yeah, my wife and I do a podcast called Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. If you go to boyceandaliciatv.com, you can subscribe. We do about 2 episodes a week, and we talk. We just literally lay in our bed against our pillow and just. We figured that people might want to hear what 2 college professors who believe in Black love talk about when we're sitting there just in the bedroom, because we have these really intelligent conversations about all these. Well, yeah, I'd say interesting. I don't want to call this intelligent. That sounds kind of weird, but but they would just be interesting conversations. Like it's really cool to. When you are a deep thinker, it's cool to be next to somebody else who's a deep thinker. My wife reads over 20 books a year, and she's a licensed therapist. But what's interesting though is that we're a little bit of the odd couple in the sense that her worldview is different from mine. Like she's like, she'll say things like, war, we don't need war. War is entirely unnecessary. And I just don't agree with that. I think war is necessary. I think you got to be ready for war. So we don't agree, but I learned from her. She learns from me. And as long as you can maintain that balance, that makes a big difference. Now, next question. Why do Nubian brothers and sisters call ourselves Black? I've heard that. I've heard from some of the brothers out and sisters out here that have explained that maybe we shouldn't call ourselves Black. I call myself Black. That's just my choice, but you have a right to make whatever choice works for you, and I respect it. Dr. Boyce, why did you turn down the teaching job at Simmons attending this summer? And I would love to know. I'll paraphrase Lewis. I didn't turn it down. There wasn't really a position. Simmons College is a great school, but down in Kentucky, it's an HBCU. I don't think they really have a big budget. I don't think they really have the resources in place. So it wasn't that I turned them down. I love Simmons. I love Kevin Cosby. I love all the people down there, but it just wasn't there. I mean, there's nothing really to build on, and with the Black Business School, we have 150,000 students around the world. I mean, we're all over the planet. So that's really a pretty good situation that allows me to do all the teaching that I want to do. So if you're interested in taking a look at some of that stuff, feel free to go to my website. My website is boycewatkins.com. Let's see here. Do you believe that we are on the verge of a nuclear war with Russia this year? I hope not, Philip. Man, I hope not. God, I don't even want to think about that, but it's possible. It's possible. Let's see, Lemire, are you aware of how the petrodollar is losing dominance based on the new blockchain-based payment system the BRICS nations are building and soon will implement? No, that's not my area of expertise, and so I haven't seen much about the petrodollar, so I can't really respond to that intelligently. You posted something on Facebook about Will and Rock that disagree with, but I can't remember. Yeah, I thought that I don't understand it. I don't understand why Will Smith punched or slapped Chris Rock. I don't get it. I think that the fact that they're over 50 years old, I mean, come on. Like I'm put it this way. I'm a fan of Black men being grown-ups. I don't think we always have to be into like hip hop gangster crap. Like when Chris Rock is almost 60 years old, what does it look like to have 2 60-year-old Black men? Damn, there's still a 53-year-old and 57-year-old up there fighting like they're teenagers. That's kind of embarrassing, man. And I get it that to protect Black women, all that. I get all of that, but there's a lot of ways you can protect people without slapping them or slapping other people. There's a million ways to protect. I protect my woman all the time. I protect her emotionally, intellectually, financially. Why does it always have to come down to violence? I'm not a fan of that. I wish Will had handled it differently, but that's life. That's his choice. Let's see here. Sharon says, okay, let's see your comment. Sharwin. Let's see it. Fred, are you allowing food vendors for the conference? Yeah, I think that food vendors are allowed. That I can't be 100% sure, but I got to check with the event planner. But we are having vendors. If you go to, boycewatkins.com, there's a link to get a pass to the conference. Within the next week, we will have the vendors link also up there. If you want to be a vendor or a sponsor, the sponsors we will promote on our big platform, on our different channels. We actually have 1 million people a week that check out our different platforms. But if you want to just be a vendor and just vend at the event, that's also a possibility too. A lot of money gets made that way. Let's see here. They use Chris to send a message to Will and Jada. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what was going on with that. I didn't think the joke was that bad. And alopecia is not cancer. Like I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just saying, it just didn't. I think people are making a whole lot more out of it than they should have. Is Ride a good stock? Heavy Chevy. I don't know. I don't know enough about that stock. There's thousands of them, but I do have a stock market investors class where literally the students send me stocks that they want me to look at, and I look at it and I come back with with my opinion in the next class. So feel free to go take a look at the class. You can do a free trial actually at Boyce BoyceWatkins.com. So feel free to go to BoyceWatkins.com. I'm retired, sir, and trying to get the best out of my pension. All right. Short questions, please. One sentence, one short sentence. A CD plan. I don't think CDs are good. I wouldn't go with CDs. I don't think CDs pay you anything. You'd be better off staking crypto or investing in low risk stocks. Let's see here. Nicole says, I hate that I missed you when you were in Chicago. Well, you know what? We're actually doing a big event in Chicago in May. So make sure you get on the email list or something like that. If you go to BoyceWatkins.com, there's a link where you can actually get some stocks that I actually recommended for 2022 that I think are going to be good investments. But when you get that, you'll also get a chance to get on our email list. And if you get on the email list, that way I can announce to you when we go to Chicago or whatever city we go to. We got on the radar, I think we have Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, New Orleans, and of course, Charlotte. The convention is in Charlotte. And if you want to get a discount on convention tickets for today only, there's a 30% early bird discount that ends tonight at midnight. Just go to BoyceWatkins.com. Let's see here. What is best to invest in, an IRA or an annuity? I'm 52 and I know it's a little late, but I now have money to invest. I don't think it's a preference. I think it's a matter. It's like saying which is better, red or green. It depends on what color you like, So I think an annuity can work if you want that consistent cash flow, but if you don't need it, then an IRA might be the best bet. They both have benefits, so I would encourage you to look up the different benefits. IRA has a lot of tax benefits, and an annuity is where you can put a bunch of money in and kind of get like these regular payments. So it kind of depends on what you need. Any advice for those of us who are starting out in this financial space and trying to build generational wealth? I have a free lecture that I created for you guys called basically the keys to black financial security, how to be financially secure, what that looks like. So if you go to blackfinancialsecurity.com, that's totally free and it's right there. So that might be a good place to start if you're into that kind of thing. Another way might be to sort of read financial information on a daily basis. Subscribe to some publications that might go a long way for you. Let's see. Russia's shutting down oil reserve to European countries. Russia's selling in rubies. Okay, interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah, that Russian war, I don't like it, but what can you do? Wars happen. No such thing as black. Okay. Can you discuss the relationship between tariffs and inflation? Says author. Well, a tariff against another country, like if you say all the goods coming from that country are going to have a 20% price increase or 10% price increase, you're going to cause inflation for that particular country's goods, maybe even for that commodity. So that's the link. Basically, tariff is sort of artificial inflation invoked to make a point to the other country. Let's see here. What are some ways to establish credit for teenagers? They have teenage credit cards out here. I can't think of any offhand, but if you look up credit cards for teenagers, there are cards out there you can use to go ahead and get your kid used to using a credit card and establishing credit and all that good stuff. All right. So if you're on TikTok, by the way, my TikTok is Boyce Watkins. I'm going to shut down the TikTok in a minute, guys. So it was good. It was real talking to you. I've never talked live. I've only talked live to the TikTok users only once. Oh, authorized user. There you go. Alicia, that's a good point. So Alicia did make a good point there that if you make them an authorized user, really that works for anybody that you're trying to build credit for. If you make them an authorized user on your card and you trust them, that will increase their credit score. So I'm shutting off the TikTok now. And so I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Take care now. All right. So it'll be shut off by TikTok. All right. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's see who's from. Tracy says he's from Boston. I don't know who's from Boston. I'm sorry. What do you think of legacy reseller accounts like eBay, Poshmark, Etsy, etc.? I don't use them that much. I know people that do. It's tough to make money, but if I was to do it, I would take a class on how to do it. Learn from somebody who knows how to do it. I have wealthy family members. Thanks for so much. Good for you, Paul. Congratulations. My name is Corey. Hey, Doc. It's a black-owned bread company out of Chicago called the Black Bread Company. Is it possible for you to do an interview with them sometime? No, I do not do interviews like that anymore, to be honest with you. In order to do an interview, honestly, it's like people, if they want to pay us to do an interview, I'll do it to raise money for the Black Business School. But I don't like doing interviews. Honestly, I'm not a journalist, and it's not fun for me. It takes me away from running the business. So people like to come on the platform because they can make money, because I reach so many people. But honestly, it's just such a drain, and I just am just not, and I'm just, yeah. But anyway, am I coming to Boston, Tracy? I want to go to Boston. I love Boston. I haven't been. I did an internship in Boston with General Electric when I was a sophomore in college, and I've never forgot that summer. And yeah, would I like to go back to Boston? I would. I don't have any plans, but I would definitely love to go back. So yeah, so there we go. So one day I'll be back in Boston. It won't be this year though. Hey, Shy from Philly, how are you? Is that a new judge? Is that new judge any good for FBA? Ask Texas, Alabama. It depends on how you look at it, right? Here's the deal. Okay. The thing about this Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is that I read her whole bio. She's extremely qualified. She's went to Harvard. She's smart. Her family's a solid family. And she has some connection to the deepest criminal justice issue in America, in my view, which is mass incarceration. Mass incarceration is the number one criminal justice issue. It's not Black men being shot by the police. Not to say that's not important, but it's not like every other person has a relative who was shot by a cop. Most of y'all don't have a relative that was shot by a cop. But most of y'all do have a relative who got locked up, maybe on some dope charges or for drugs or something like that, or got killed in a drug-related situation, or have a relative that was hooked on drugs. So the war on drugs, to me, is the greatest social justice issue of this generation. Everything else is a distraction. It's a distraction in my view. So the fact that she's connected to that issue, that her uncle, because her uncle got life in prison with no parole. The only reason Ketanji Brown Jackson's uncle didn't get all his time is because Ketanji knew Barack Obama. Barack Obama gave him a commutation on his sentence and got him out of jail. Most people can't get that. So it's very frustrating for me because I really want to see systematic responses to systematic problems. We do book club every week. Every Wednesday night we do the Dr. Boyce book club, where we're reading Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. And the biggest thing you can learn from the book club is that racism was very systematic. They systematically created laws. I read to you one by one 85 laws that were created to control Black people. It was done in a very systematic fashion. There were institutions that colluded in order to form what Dr. Anderson refers to as racial monopolies to specifically control Black people. They did it in a systematic, structured way. So my point is, if you're going to solve a systematic, structured problem, you must solve it with a systematic, structured solution. Screaming and hollering because some Black man got shot by the cops ain't shit to me. It means nothing. It doesn't do anything in terms of really changing the parameters for all 40 million Black people. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not telling you that George Floyd isn't important, but I'm telling you that when they do all this, like, well, George Floyd is just like Martin Luther King type stuff, that's all a big distraction to keep you away from the core issue. The core issue is that Joe Biden sent probably 200,000 or 300,000 people to prison, many of whom are still there. They're all sitting there rotting and waiting to die because y'all getting caught up in one shooting in one city, and they always do it just because there's an election coming up. So I don't talk. If you notice, if you follow my platform, you'll notice I don't really talk about individual police shootings. Well, who did what? Who shot? Who did this to that? And who did that? I don't get into that. I want to talk about the big picture. The big picture is that hundreds of thousands of your people are locked up right now and dying in jail because we're too busy screaming and hollering about one guy's situation. One person's situation is not more important than all of our situation. I don't care who that person is. So that's my 2 cents. I think that that's the one thing that I liked about Ketanji Brown Jackson, besides the fact that she seems decent. But there's also the obvious of the fact that you've never had a Supreme Court justice in history ever married to a Black person. That's because Black marriage is considered dangerous. Black people unifying is considered a dangerous thing. It is a threat for Black people to form collectives and unions. So if Ketanji Brown Jackson's husband was Black, she would not be getting nominated for the Supreme Court. I guarantee it. So, and remember, her husband was a 7th-generation Harvard graduate, which means that he's connected in the halls of power, because the Supreme Court is linked to Harvard University. When Barack Obama nominated Elena Kagan, who was a dean at Harvard, for the Supreme Court, I got somebody, I think it was another brother, Charles Ogletree, who was on the faculty at Harvard. I think he reached out to me to ask me to advocate for her. And I picked up on it. I said, okay, this is a Harvard thing. This is Harvard taking care of Harvard. So that's kind of what that is. If she didn't go to Harvard, she wouldn't be getting nominated. If she wasn't married to a white boy, she wouldn't be getting nominated. Kamala Harris, if she married a black man, wouldn't be getting nominated. I'm not dogging out their spouses or saying interracial marriage is the devil. I'm saying that you live in a country that still hasn't come to terms with the way that it views black people as a collective. There has still to this date, in my view, has not been any high-level politician in America that has truly and meaningfully advocated for black people over any long period of time. Anybody like that, they would destroy him before he gets a chance to do anything. That's why you'll never see me running for office. All right, so if you give me one sentence questions, I can give you quick answers. That was a little bit longer of an answer. I didn't mean to go so long, but I want to address that. But if I don't see your question the first time, just feel free to write it back in again. And I want to remind everybody, you have a few more hours to get 30% off your convention tickets. The convention is going to be the All Black National Convention is going to be October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a great big family reunion. You get to learn, you get to hang out, you get to have fun. We have a ball, we have an award show. We also have lots of learning and teaching and breakout sessions and panels and speakers. And we even have speed dating. So if you're tired of dating losers, come to the convention. You'll meet great people. Keisha Ravenel was sad because her ex-fiance let her go, unfortunately, and she was really broken by that. Well, guess what? She went to the convention. She met a guy on her way to speed dating. They are engaged now, right? So coming together is probably the most valuable thing that we're offering at the convention. The convention is the 28th through the 30th. So it's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're watching on Instagram, you can click the link in the bio and you can see the convention passes right there on my website. All right. So why don't I have a streaming platform? But because this is the best I want to do. I don't feel like building a whole nother platform. It costs too much money. We spent $100,000 trying to build a social media platform and it did not work because the engineers could not get it to do what it needed to do. So we lost $100,000 trying to do that. But believe me, we did try. I'm not trying anymore. What do you think of black police officers? Some are good, some are bad. My dad was a cop. I have friends that are cops that are good people. One outcry, the people that the media will never talk to you about is that in the 2020 election, when they had all those protests and people were throwing bricks through windows and acting a fool or whatever, a lot of black cops quit. A lot of black cops were telling me that they can't get black people to stay on the force or want to join the force because they don't want to be seen as racist. They're like, this is not fair, but I don't want to be seen as a bad person when I'm trying to help my community. So a lot of black people are not applying for the job. So you're worse off now than you were before all those protests. Those protests were the biggest orchestration I've ever seen in my life. It was the biggest manipulation, biggest mindfuck I've ever seen ever, because literally it all went away right after the election. They did that because they know black people are easily triggered. They know that we're so emotional and they just threw it all out there to get you all to make sure you voted. Now, as soon as you voted, all of it kind of toned down. They're like, okay, the election's over. Let's get back to business now. So, I feel sorry for you if you fell for that. But just believe me, the crime waves that are happening now, all this other stuff that's going on in different cities. LA's having a major crime wave. San Francisco's having a crime wave. My hometown of Louisville's having more murders than they've ever had because the cops quit. A lot of good cops that were like, damn, I'm just trying to do my job. They're like, they're like, man, I'm not doing this, And some people are like, well, you should have been a cop if you ain't ready to do your job. Well, guess what? Now, some of those positions, my father told me in the 80s, they would get 1,000 applicants, qualified people that went to college and everything to want to be on the police force, the best of the best. He said now they can't get nothing but racist rednecks who can't get a job anywhere else. They have to hire crazy people now because nobody wants the job anymore. So I'm just encouraging those who have balanced, rational thinking to just really understand what you're doing. You can't be too extremist because it's not going to work out in your favor. But that's my 2 cents. That's what I believe. What would you recommend to a student? Would you recommend a student pursue a PhD in finance in 2022? Yeah, just be ready. Make sure you study lots of math. It's lots and 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 lots of math. And just be ready to go through a lot of hell. And make sure you go to a good school, because if you get a PhD from a school that isn't very good, it's pretty worthless because it's not going to get you a university job. Universities will only hire people typically from better universities. So if you want a job at the University of Tennessee, then that means you got to go to like a Big Ten school like Michigan. If you want to get a job in Michigan, that means you got to go to an Ivy League like Harvard or Yale. But if you go to like, Middle Tennessee State University and get a PhD, most universities won't hire you. And that's just the honest God truth. All right, so let me see here. Next, Lamb investments. I'm invested in crypto. What would you recommend for me as a newbie? Asked Tracy. I would go and check out maybe something like eToro or something where you could just follow what the experts are doing. Also, I think quality matters. So I am a big believer in like crypto and, or excuse me, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I stay at the top when it comes to stocks and crypto. How much would you add to your stocks per day? It depends out on how fast you want to grow your money. I know people that invest 70% of their income. I do. I mean, I invest most of my money. I don't spend a lot of my money. Most of my money I'm putting into my business, putting into my real estate, putting into stocks. I don't need any more clothes. I don't need like a nicer car. I get me, my wife and I drive nice cars. What am I going? I mean, I'm not going to blow it on stupid stuff. Maybe experiences, like I like to travel and stuff, but that's pretty much it. How does not voting advance long-term Black prospects? Well, what it does, I'm not telling you not to vote. I never tell anybody not to vote, but I am going to say, my opinion is that if I'm voting, I need to know what I'm voting for. And if I'm getting nothing for my vote, I'm not going to do it. And voting consistently has done almost nothing for Black people. You do it because they tell you to do it, because you're sort of you're trained to do what you're told. But if you can't give me a logical reason why I'm doing this thing, I'm not going to do it. And a lot of people think that not voting is bad. If you don't vote, you don't count. They don't know anything about political science. People like this know nothing about political. If you study political science theory, you will find that abstaining is a viable political strategy. In fact, the Democrats do it. The Democrats in Texas, when they got mad because the Republicans were passing these laws that they didn't like, I don't know if it was abortion or something else, they didn't vote. They didn't vote. So if not voting is bad, then why would your own politicians not vote? Well, they abstained because they knew that abstaining was making their point. So I'm not telling you not to vote. I'm just saying, you show me where Black people are benefiting from voting. Show me the benefits. If you can't, then that means you're just doing what people told you to do. I don't speak slave. I'm sorry. I don't speak slave. Let's see. Do you travel and do speaking engagement? Yes, I do, Kelly. You can email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com if you'd like me to speak somewhere. Should people skip school and go straight to entrepreneurship? Adrian, I think it depends on who you ask and who you are. I've seen people do it and it's worked for them. It's not for the faint of heart. No matter which path you pick, there's going to be a pro and a set of pros and a set of cons. I say pick the path that works for you. Going to college, there's nothing wrong with going to college. College is fun. My son's in college right now, having a blast. But if he wasn't interested in school, then I would say, okay, well, you got to get education. You got to get knowledge from somewhere. So where are you going to get it? So remember, online, you can learn a lot of great stuff online. I taught on college campuses for many years, and it's great. College is mostly valuable to me, not just for what you learn, because you can learn a lot of stuff in a lot of places. It's like the experience. It's living with, in the building with your best friends and getting to meet girls and, have fun. Like college, you play basketball, just all this stuff you get to do, So I think that if you're in a rush to start your life, I would say go to college just because it gives you a chance to just be a kid for a little while. You ain't got to run out and you got your whole life to be a grown up. But the problem is when you go too deep in debt. When you go too deep in debt, then what happens is that debt. I know 50-year-old college graduates, 60-year-old college graduates who still can't pay the loans back. That's not good. That's not a win for you in the wealth category. Let's see. Glenn says, Dr. Boyce, you're the GOAT. I appreciate you, King. Well, I appreciate you too, brother. Thank you so much for your kind words. Tim Wright, you're the best, Doc. I look forward to meeting you at the conference. I look forward to meeting you too. And by the way, if you want to learn about the convention, just go to boycewatkins.com, click the link for the All Black National Convention. The information is all right there. And today's the last day at midnight tonight. Up until midnight, you can get 30% off. That's our early bird. So feel free to take a look at that. Let's see here. And when the vendor spots will open up next week if you want to be a vendor or a sponsor. And we'll make it worth your while. Like, we want you to make money. We don't want you to just sponsor just out of the kindness of your heart. If you don't make more than what it costs for you to be a sponsor or be a vendor, then we're not doing our job. So the goal is to do a trade. You have a business, you're making a little bit of money, you want to get more customers. Well, we'd love to have more sponsors because we can't take money from everybody. You're not going to hear about Bank of America sponsoring the All Black National Convention because they're going to monitor what we say. And we don't want anybody monitoring what we say. We have complete freedom of speech. Last year, it was really important because we had serious conversations about those jabs. Rizza Islam was there. I love Rizza. To me, Rizza is one of the greatest black leaders in this country that we have right now. I love that guy. I'm not going to tell him like, oh, don't be talking about, don't be saying nothing bad. Boss gonna come get you. We don't do that. So, but but raising money is important to do things like this. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to pull these things off. That's why everything can't be free. Okay, so that's transparency in terms of why we have to charge certain prices, and we do our best we can, and we have a great team, and we will get it done for you. All right, so let's see here. All those crime-ridden cities are being run by white liberal Democrats. Kind of ironic, ain't it? What are your thoughts on the California reparations bill? I think a reparations bill, it depends on what's in it, right? So if you have something good in it, something beneficial, and it's a sincere effort to make to repair, then I think it should be considered. I don't think it should be just written off. I think the California, for all of its flaws in that particular context, it sounds like they're trying to do the right thing. But but the thing is, they don't know the history. I think they don't understand how serious the check has to be, how big that check must be for it to actually be the adequate check. We've been reading Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth every Wednesday night. We've been reading it paragraph by paragraph, word for word, because I want you guys to be educated on what your country has put you through. I want you to be educated on what your country owes you. And Dr. Anderson has laid out so much stuff in those books. My good Lord Jesus. If you want to join the book club, just go to boycewatkins.com. The link is there. The book club, the live book clubs are free. The archive lectures, we've done almost 40. There's a fee for that. But if you want to come to the live sessions, those are absolutely free. And literally, it's just astonishing, when you just see all the laws that they put in place, all the money that they stole from you. There's documented statements where the people in the South literally were saying, the leaders were saying, we can't survive without black labor. They literally said that. And also there's interesting stuff that you don't learn in school, like how the people in the North didn't want you to be free either. They were like, what the hell? Don't send those Negroes up here because they're going to come take our jobs. So they sent them back down south and said, here, look, y'all can do whatever you want to do with them because the war is over. We don't want no problems. So the South implemented the black codes and started abusing black people and forcing them back into slavery because your so-called allies wasn't looking. So that really is a parallel to today. You're scared of the Republicans, so but the Democrats ain't looking. So everybody's abusing. You're getting abused from both sides, right? So ultimately, these things are things I think we need to learn because they're feeding you a fairy tale. They're making you think that certain people are your friends. And so any black person in 1888 who was looking to white liberals to come save him was a goddamn fool. He was getting played. He was, because they're like, no, we're going to string you up too. Don't come up in our house. So just be clear. You don't have any friends. I hate saying it like that, but it's true. Oakland. Let's see. Oh, wait. Roy Carter. Is Bollinger Bands a good indicator for trading stock options? I don't use them, but I know what you're talking about. I mean, it's not my thing though. Technical analysis is iffy. It's a little bit like voodoo sometimes. It just feels like it's like superstition in some cases. Not in every case, but because there is some technical analysis that can work, I think, but some of this stuff is absolute voodoo. Let's see. Oakland's Ghostly says, I'm a poet, self-published author, and musician. What would be the best way to market myself as a coach and share my work? I would join the coaching program. I would specifically learn. I would be very intentional about it and dedicate like 500 hours to just studying how to be a coach and how to market and position your products and how to sell it and how to get your clients. Let's see. Assalamu alaikum, big brother. What are good cryptocurrencies for beginners to start with? I would go straight for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to be big. What's another one that I like? Oh gosh, we had recommendations in the crypto club. We have a crypto club in the Black Business School. It's on my website, boycewatkins.com, if you want to go take a look. But what was that? Polkadot. There was Polkadot and Cardano. Those are a couple others that I really like too. Polkadot and Cardano. But there's others, but those are a couple that a lot of experts seem to like. Let's see here. Should we continue to trust Van Jones with the money he received from Jeff Bezos? Well, I can't say I ever really trusted Van Jones, but I never distrusted him. I just, I mean, I don't think Van's a bad guy. I don't. He's not really moving the needle. He doesn't really inspire me to say, yeah, that's our guy. I'm more of a Farrakhan kind of guy. Like, tell him like it is. Go straight for the jugular. Go, and I think that my philosophy is that is that most of the solutions for Black people can come from just building a better Black community. I believe in that a lot more than I believe in building a better white community or getting white people to be nicer or changing how white people think. I don't know how to do that. I don't know when that's going to occur. I feel like that's out of my hands, right? So it's like it's a mindset, it's like, when I was a little kid and I used to get real frustrated because I would need a ride. You need a ride and your mama won't give you a ride and you want to go to your friend's house. And I hated that. It was very irritating for me because I would ask for a ride and she would say, "Yeah, I'll take you," and then she wouldn't do it or whatever. And so I got a moped, and when I got a moped, it would take me longer to get there, right? And it was, I had to get the gas, I had to ride in the snow or whatever, but at least I knew I was going to arrive. And so one of the reasons I'm a big believer in do for self is because I'll admit I don't have a lot of faith in white people shifting their mindset enough to really open up opportunities for us in the way that we deserve. I believe that it's always going to be constant frustration, always going to be constant disappointment, always going to be constant confusion over the fact that they tell you that they want an equal opportunity society and all these other things, but then they don't follow through and they don't care. I feel like it's disrespectful. It's like they just spit on you and laugh at you, and there's nothing you can do. But if you have a strong community, there's a lot you can do. If you raise good quality kids, like what's my, how do I combat racism? Well, I picked a good, smart wife who is skilled at what she does. Um, and we have some strong, smart kids that we educate to the best of our ability. We build our wealth, we save our money, protect our assets. We educate ourselves so that we're smart and well trained on what's happening in the world. We try to own property and own assets so that we can protect our interests. And white people don't mess with us. We have white neighbors. They're not gonna mess with us. They're probably intimidated by us, I mean, because we're smarter than they are, and we probably have more resources than they do, and our kids are smarter than their kids. And so I don't think this doom and gloom idea that somehow because you're Black, you're always just an inch away from being murdered for no reason. I don't. That's just not the reality I've seen. I know people like that, but usually it's because they are following a different blueprint from the one I was raised on. I was raised on a blueprint where my father didn't take shit from nobody. My parents, taught us to be responsible for our outcomes and to do your best and don't go out here doing stupid shit and you're gonna be okay. But that might mean things like my father. Both of my fathers were hooked on drugs at one point. My dad talks about being in Vietnam and messing with heroin. My other father was in prison for drugs, my biological father. So as a result of that, I stayed away from drugs. My father went out of his way to make sure I understood drugs are not for you. And also, for whatever reason, I chose not to drink alcohol. And the reason I didn't is because I noticed a lot. If you pay attention, you'll see a lot of Black men that get killed or end up in bad situations because they use drugs and alcohol. Let me tell you an example or tell you a story. Steve McNair. Anybody remember Steve McNair, Air McNair, who played for the not Houston Texans, but the Tennessee Titans. And he was a great quarterback and a great player. And I'm not saying he deserved anything. I'm not saying he deserved what happened to him because he got killed by his girlfriend or whatever. But I remember I met Steve maybe a few weeks before he died, and we took a picture together. I got to go find that picture and I'll put it up on so you can see what I'm talking about. And I remember noticing his eyes were like bloodshot red. Like I could tell he was drunk. And I was like, "Hey man, can we take a picture?" We just took a little quick selfie. It was 2006. And I was like, "Oh, this dude's messed up." And then when he got shot by his girlfriend, like he was laying on the couch and he was shot, I couldn't help but wonder, you know, first of all, was he drunk that night too? I don't know why I'm thinking that he might have been. I'm not saying he was for sure. I got to double check that. But also, just you even though you don't deserve to be victimized, I think that there's something to be said about Black men doing our best to not put ourselves in a situation where it's easy to victimize you. So it's kind of like when Cardi B used to talk about how she would drug men and rob them and then get them raped by a tranny. And I agreed, you don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. Even if you're sleeping with hookers, you don't deserve that. But you also have to say, okay, should I really even put myself in that situation anyway? And that kind of conversation is not allowed in some spaces. Some people just want you to only be a victim and to do as much dumb shit as you possibly can. Like literally eat the wrong food, make the wrong choices, be high and drunk all the time. And then when something happens to you, you have no self-defense. All you have is the moral high ground. Well, I'm a victim, right? And that comes with a certain type of empowerment, like, oh, I'm the victim, everyone's going to feel sorry for me. But I think as a man, or as an intelligent man or intelligent woman, you got to go beyond using victimhood. Victimhood is not a shield. Victimhood does not protect you from the things that are out there to harm you. And so the benefit you got from your great grandma, who grew up in the Great Depression, when nobody felt sorry for your black ass, the benefit your grandma brought to the table, she taught you, baby, don't be out here doing nothing stupid, you know. And we live in a world where people will just do terrible things, like literally ruin their own lives. You be out here high and drunk and eating fried chicken all the time, just doing whatever. And then when something bad happens, like you dead from a heart attack from too much fried chicken, too much Popeyes, or you broke because you were throwing your money up at the club, or something bad happens to you, with a cop or whatever, because you're so drunk you don't even know where you're at, right? And then people will say, oh, you're a victim and it's their fault, and I get all that, but they're not completing the conversation. My goal is to teach you how to not always be a victim. Do you understand what I'm saying? It sounds harsh. I have to say it gently because it hurts people's feelings. But maybe that's why a lot of military people follow me, because my soldiers tend to get it. They tend to understand what it means to be on mission and to protect yourself and to be ready, right? But everyone else, a lot of our community, you're just taught to be a victim. You're taught to do as much dumb shit as possible. You're taught to not prepare for anything, right? So think about this. A kid goes to school for 12 years and he graduates, and the damn kid can't even read, can't write, can't do math, but he knows how to twerk. He knows how to play basketball. He knows how to do all kinds of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with anything he's going to need to survive. And then when his life falls apart, people are like, oh, he's a victim. It's because of racism. Yeah, racism was always there waiting for his ass. Racism tends to pick the weakest link, right? Racism grabs you when you ain't ready. Racism requires a response. As Black people, you must have a response. What is your response? Where is your preparation for the future? Do you know the number one slogan I repeat to my daughter on a regular basis? If you ask my children, what's the thing Boyce says all the time that just gets on your nerves? You know what I say? I say preparation is the key to success. I say it all the time. If they're late, if we're about to leave and they forget something in the house, I'll be like, preparation is the key to success. Well, they didn't do their homework, they got a bad grade. I'll be like, oh, preparation is the key to success. That's because I've learned that the biggest thing that I was able to pick up from my parents that we don't teach our people is the importance of being proactive instead of always being reactive. We always looking back at what just happened instead of thinking forward about what all the things that can happen and all the things we must prepare ourselves for. So if I'm sitting here and I'm really talking to a young Black man who says, look, I want to really be ready for life, what do I do? You know what I would say to him? I'd say, number one, stay away from drugs and alcohol. Too many Black men are getting killed off of drugs and alcohol. They go into the club getting shot because somebody stepped on their toe and they feel disrespected. They get running into cops, and the cops are able to arrest them or kill them because they don't know what the hell's going on, or they do something they wouldn't normally do. Stay away from drugs and alcohol, because drugs and alcohol have absolutely obliterated the Black community, destroyed the community. Little girls getting raped because somebody got drunk and did something he might not normally do, or daddy's off in jail because daddy was slanging dope, or mama was hooked on crack. Like, just avoid drugs and alcohol at all costs. Number two, I would say educate yourself. The more information you take in, the more prepared you are to deal with situations, because smart people have solutions. People who have no information don't know what to do, right? So taking as much information as you can, learn reading, writing, math. You learn how to write so you can communicate your ideas effectively. Learn how to do math so you can count your damn money, so you can go out here and get money and know how to count it. When somebody says you're going to get 20% of the deal, you know what 20% of the deal is. You say, okay, 20% of $1,000, that means I get $200. Okay, got it. Do you know how many kids graduate? I kid you not, I've talked to grown people and I said, if I was going to give you $100 and you had to pay me 20%, how much would you have to pay me? They can't even answer that. They can't answer. So you got to ask yourself, what are our kids doing? What are they doing in school? other than learning pronouns and how to pee in the girl's bathroom and that a boy can get pregnant and all this other nonsense. Seriously, I mean, what are they? What the hell is happening here? They're dumbing down your whole community to make them vulnerable so that you will always be able to check the victim box. Well, I'm gonna tell you at the end of the day, when the universe is adding up winners and losers, and the universe is deciding who gets the prize and who gets kicked in the ass, the universe ain't gonna give a shit about whether or not you were the victim and you had the high ground. They're gonna look and say, you lost, you won, you get the territory, you get the land, you get the women, you get the assets. Oh, you get to be a slave, but yeah, you get to feel good that you can point the finger at somebody else. I'm not trying to be no loser, man. I don't want to be a loser, and I don't want you to be a loser. And so you got to get out of that mindset, man. Like, let that crap go. These people are not your friends. So anyway, y'all know, y'all got me triggered. But this is the type of shit I think about all the time. I've always practiced. Like, stop feeling sorry for yourself. No, it wasn't fair. But stop running around hollering about how it ain't fair. Life ain't fair. Ain't no such thing as fair. Ain't no such thing as fair. Stop believing in that's not equality, or that was wrong. That was racism. That's not fair. Yeah, life ain't fair. The white man did not take over America by playing fair. Because their enemies were not playing fair. When Paul Revere and all them had the American Revolution, you think the British were playing fair? You think the Germans were playing fair when they were fighting with the French and the Russians? It's literally Adolf Hitler signed a contract. He signed a treaty with Joseph Stalin and said, "Hey man, look, hey, don't start, and there won't be none. You don't mess with me, I won't mess with you." He signed the treaty and immediately violated the treaty because life ain't fair. And Stalin was heartbroken, and the Germans were advancing toward Moscow. They were killing and raping and pillaging all the way through because the Nazi soldiers were hopped up on a PCP and all this other stuff, right? Well, Stalin, after he finished feeling sorry for himself, he pulled together his army. He understood. He learned life ain't fair. He pulled together his army of 1 million Russian soldiers and kicked the Germans in their ass and chased them all the way back to Berlin. And they raped and pillaged and burned everything down along the way because life ain't fair. So if I was to really leave one message with you today, and I hope you get it, and I hope you're hearing me, is that as a Black person in America and beyond, I need you to accept the idea that life ain't fair. No matter how much they tell you that, they tell you that to get you to let your defenses down. Life is not fair. It ain't gonna be fair. It ain't never gonna be fair for you. So thank you. Fuck fair. Get even. Be ready to fight. Be ready to stand up for what is yours. That's what you must do if you ever want to win in America. You will never win because somebody handed you the trophy. That's a damn fairy tale. That's it, guys. I'm done talking. I hope you guys have a good day. It was great speaking with you. I'm gonna come back in a little bit, maybe tomorrow or something like that. But right now, I need to go take a nap. So hit the thumbs up button if you're watching online anywhere, and also don't forget that for the rest of the night, you can get 30% off your convention tickets. So if you want to bring your family, I encourage you reach out to your relatives, let them know about the All Black National Convention. You can go to boycewatkins.com, and the convention tickets are right there. Or if you're watching on Instagram, the link is in the bio. Also, we are putting together an affiliate program in the Black Business School. If anybody wants to join that program and actually sell stuff on your own and get a cut of the money. So what we wanted to, we've been thinking about this for a while. We wanted to set up something where some of you could actually sign up for an affiliate program and take some of the stuff that, like maybe my class, my stock market investing class. And if you have a friend you want to sell it to, you can sell it to them and bring them in, and you get a cut of whatever you bring to the table. Okay. Because I want to share with you. All right. So anyway, I'll let you guys know how that goes, and I'll keep you updated on that. We're working on it right now. We're not completely done, but I'll keep you posted. All right, everybody. So have a good day. God bless you. I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. I'll talk to y'all later. Be good. Peace.